Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about No Country for Old Men. And this movie is directed by the Coen brothers, and it stars Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, and Tommy Lee Jones. And I really loved this movie, and I've seen this movie once before, and I thought it was great then. But rewatching it now, I feel as though I got more out of it. And this time watching it, I don't really remember what I thought of it the first time, like in terms of my own personal experience, but I was familiar with the overall story and where it was going to go. But I feel as though I picked up on a few more details this time watching it than I did the first time watching it. And before I get into any minor details that I really appreciate about the film, I'm just going to get into the big things, that being the performances. I thought they were all great. Javier Bardem is amazing in this movie. And he pretty much just plays a psychopath, and he's very interesting, and whenever he's on screen, like, you're always paying attention. And luckily, whenever he's not on screen, the movie doesn't get any worse. I'm just saying that he is a highlight whenever he's on screen, and he doesn't always talk when he's on screen. It's mostly just silence, and that's really how I feel about the majority of the film, is that there's a lot of silence going on. It's very quiet, and there's barely any music played at all, and that's to help make things more tense and add to the atmosphere of the film, and it always paid off very well. And this movie, I feel as though, was very well written, and I thought the dialogue was really good, and there were some memorable lines, and there were points in the movie where the film had moments of comedy, and those moments were really funny, and that mostly came from Tommy Lee Jones, and he was pretty funny at points. And even though a lot of this movie is pretty serious, the comedic moments do not take away from the seriousness of the story. It's just a little quick break, but it's not like interrupt the plot for some jokes for the most part. And there's a lot of side characters in this movie that I really like, that have only like a few minutes of screen time, and they do add to the film a lot, and they make the world that this movie is taking place feel authentic. And this movie takes place in 1980, and it always felt like that time period. And I do kind of like how the title plays into the overall film. Not like literally, like a character never says this is no country for old men. But it's more or less implied as to why that's the case, and it was interesting for me. And there's plenty of violence in this movie, and it all feels real. It never once feels fake or goofy. It's all very mature, and I really love the tone of the film, and I really loved little moments of detail sprinkled throughout the movie, and you really get a lot from the characters just by noticing these little things. Like, you'll notice, just to throw out a couple examples, there's like blood on the floor, and characters will notice that and try to not get their feet dipped in the blood, and that was just a small thing. And I'm comfortable saying that without spoiling anything. And what this movie ultimately is, story-wise, is just a man on the run kind of story, but they do a lot with it, and there's a lot to explore, and there isn't really anything to dislike about the movie. And the only issue I have with this movie is just one little thing that's in the very first scene of the film, and it was just a character being an idiot that was not really part of the character from what I could tell, and it was a bit distracting. But aside from that one complaint about the movie, I don't have any other flaws with this movie. It's basically a perfect movie, and the movie looks great. It's very well shot throughout, and Roger Deakins, he did the cinematography for this movie, and that's why it looks so great. And there's a lot more I would love to get into, but I don't want to start spoiling the movie without even realizing it, so I'm going to stop there. And Overall, I think this movie is fantastic. Check it out if you ever have the time for it. I think you'll have a great experience. And if you like the Coen Brothers movies, then there's really no reason not to check this movie out. And with all that being said, I'm going to give No Country for Old Men a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of No Country for Old Men. And my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Silence of the Lambs. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.